Dead City episode.
Yeah.
And just have Cyber come on for like the back half. Hey folks, this is again, once again, I guess you could say that this is the MCU'S Bleeding Edge report this Monday evening, 5/5/2025, because that's what Andres and I used to call the Monday show. But we're back, in effect, to cover Dead City Season 2, Episode 1. Thanks, Andres, for coming out with me, brother. Appreciate you. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody out there that that enjoys our Walking Dead spinoff coverage. So Andres, before we get into the episode of Dead City, I was thinking about it earlier. Going back to the original Walking Dead show, right? Like it's interesting how like things have worked out for the actors that got popular because of the show and then left. You know what I mean? Like Lauren Cohen didn't catch on anywhere else or do anything really outside of The Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see her in anything since she left the show.
Yeah, there was when she left, there was one show she had that I like, but the show the network canceled it like for just one season, and it was like so annoying. But yeah, I agree that it happens with actors,
That used to happen a lot back in the day when they used to make more serialized TV shows, like back in the day, in the 90s and 80s and shit like that. Like they used to cancel a lot of shows at the one season mark every year,
Yeah.
Because remember there used to be like 180, 200 different shows that would come out. Like, what I'm saying? Like every year,
Yeah, I see that.
I don't think they make that many now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of how streaming has taken over and shit like that and everything. I think it's changed the structure of how television is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think that that they're creating as many shows as they used to make.
No.
But for a while there, back in the day, remember like Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, they would pump them out.
Yeah. I mean, now it's completely different. Like I'm trying to remember. There was because with the streaming service, they put order for it to go through the usual episodes count for it, and then go from there. And if it gets popular, then they will renew it. If not, then they will cancel it.
I watched some of those videos on YouTube where it's like number one season failures of 1990 and 88 and shit like that. I watched that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. There were some that were I was like, really? That became a series?
I mean, honestly, I don't see Andrew Lincoln's career really ending up growing really a lot outside of the Walking Dead universe. You know what I'm saying? Like you haven't seen him I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't really paid attention, but again, you didn't see him as an actor pick up any kind of real momentum in acting outside of The Walking Dead because of the show. You know what I'm saying? He didn't end up cast in big movies or anything because of it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's also they went with different directions. I mean, with him, he's a British actor. I forgot he was a British actor, and he pretty much stuck going back to his country and do more television work.
I know all that. I know all that.
So,
I've always known he was British. So that's always been an understand. I've always understood that from jump. That he was British.
Yeah.
Well,
he
has the accent, so it's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I didn't know that until I got into more of his
He was in that one movie.
Love Actually. That was
Love Actually. Yeah.
I mean, he's fine. I mean, look, this guy is already popular.
I can't even remember that movie. I don't even remember watching it. I'm not even sure if I ever did.
I seen it once, and I remember the famous scenes, obviously Andrew Lincoln's scene where he has the big flash cars with the actress from Pirates of the Caribbean. I remember that scene.
Keira Knightley.
Yeah, Keira Knightley. Yeah. By the way, I totally forgot that she was in that movie. I was like, oh,
she was popular because of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
she was popular. She was on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and an Oscar nominated films too. So man, she's doing good. It always happens with these actors. It's kind of funny, seeing the ones that got really popular. John Baffield, who plays Shane. He got out to be popular, and same thing with
Keira Knightley already had a career before Pirates. She already was acting. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Yeah, she was acting before that.
The
Yeah,
Pirates movie didn't make her or anything like that. You know what I mean? It just made her really, really popular.
Yeah.
I walked out on the Pirates of Caribbean, the first one in the theater.
Really?
I walked out of it. I was like, this movie sucks. Man, I don't want to watch this shit. I walked out and talked on the cell phone. You know what I'm saying? And drank beer outside of the fucking movie theater by myself.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't want to watch that shit.
Yeah, so it's funny. I saw the second film in theaters, and I don't know why I went to see it, but maybe because there was not too many movies in 2006. And
I saw the second Matrix film in theaters.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
when the Matrix was really popular,
at the time, yeah.
Me and my ex-wife went and saw it when she was my girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that could have been cool. Like, I mean, I like the second film.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Know, the third one is bad, but anyway, the other movies I saw in theaters, besides that was like, I mean, I didn't see the prequel Star Wars trilogies. It was just really Episode 3. That was like my first Star Wars film to saw in theaters. And same thing with Pirates Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, the second film. That was like my only Pirates Caribbean.
I saw Terminator 2 in theaters with my parents.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling me about that. Yeah, that's cool. the last and good sequel to the Terminator films.
It's cool. It's cool how you can still take your kids to R-rated movies and shit like that, and nobody says anything to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I've taken both my kids to R-rated movies when they were younger. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I mean, some of these VR movies are fine. It's not like horror movies where like I don't know, like they will be good for kids. But
I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even like like I'm just whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like so what if it's R-rated? You know what I mean? Like like so what do you really? What's going to really be exposed to the kid that the kid's not already exposed to? Kind of. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, I always wonder that. Like I don't know. I already seen this. Just besides the blood and guts, which is not real, it's like special.
I think it's good. I think it's good for the kids to see the R-rated movies. You know what I'm saying? Personally, but that's just me, folks. I'm not trying to give parental advice or anything like that for anybody. I'm just saying that for me personally, I really think it's good for the kids.
Yeah,
I watched all the R-rated movies when I was a kid.
Yeah, same here. I seen all the radar movies when I was growing
up. I had complete access to my parents, my mom and dad's complete R-rated catalog of VHS cassettes that had film movies recorded on them.
Ooh. Okay, you're back. You almost became Iceman.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So, I had fully access to the whole VHS collection. So I used to watch the shit out of like all the old 80s and 90s R-rated movies, That's all I ever did. You know what I'm saying? Like, and record my own shit off the TV in my room, because I had a TV that could record,
Oh, DVR? Oh.
It had a VHS, because it had a VHS at the bottom of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Attached.
Yeah, DVR is good.
So I can just hit record. It wasn't DVR, it was record. It was record on the VHS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something there's a like a tile. It was maybe it's rewind or something like that.
No, you had to put the VHS tape in and hit record, and like it would record on the VHS.
Yeah,
you never recorded anything on VHS back in the day?
No, I see. I didn't do that concept. Every time I hear that from like everyone reviewing movies, I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous of that.
You could buy the tapes, the VHS tapes with the space on them. You know what I'm saying? Like where you can just record over like a black screen.
Yeah, I know. Maybe one day I'll do it. But I did it with TV shows and movies in like the new TV, like where like a movie. Like I save it and then I watch it later.
Like DVR or whatever. Yeah.
DVR, yeah. That's why I brought it up, because that was like my first time I did it. It was like a couple of years pre.
I never really did that. I used to do Netflix back in the day when it was just the CDs and like DVDs. You know what I'm saying? In the mail.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, before everything changed from. Netflix.
That's how I watched The Walking Dead like that at first.
Oh, really? Okay.
I saw the first season on like USA Network. or something like that
Mm,
on like a replay. You know what I mean? Like after it already come out or something like that.
yeah.
And I started watching it. You know, I think it might have been USA Network. I'm not sure.
Uh,
I guess it was
AMC.
AMC.
No, it was still AMC. Yeah.
Okay, it was AMC then.
Yeah.
I watched like like a replay of the show on there. You know, what I mean, when it already come out.
Okay.
And So I got caught up through Netflix DVDs.
Mm.
On the show. That's how you get like a lot of the shows back then was just through Netflix DVD.
Yeah, I remember. And same thing with movies. Like every time we wanted to see a movie, we get from there or something like that.
I got caught up, and then I followed The Walking Dead all the way up to like whatever, like season 7 or 8 or whatever it was. When Glenn got killed. I stopped watching it right at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Season 7 when he died.
yeah, yeah. So I was a regular watcher. Like I watched it every Sunday, like everybody else. You know what I'm saying, or whatever it was. Whatever it was, Sunday, Tuesday, whatever night it was.
Mm.
I used to watch it. I think it was Sunday.
No, it was always a Sundays. I always remember that because like the original show was always Sundays, and like ever since it ended, like a lot of the news shows became the Sunday slots for MC. Yeah, yeah, I always remember that because like that there was a show that I liked. It will become or premiere before The Walking Dead, so I had to like remember the time for
They had
their
Talking
shows.
Dead on after Walking Dead. Remember?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Is it still?
Talking Dead was like one of the first ever after shows. You know what I'm saying? Like that like was popular.
Yeah, I I rarely watched it.
No, they don't still do it anymore. It's not like it's not like it's still a current thing. They don't do it anymore.
No? Oh wow. Yeah.
That guy, you still see him occasionally like at cons and stuff like that as like an introduced like an like an introductor type person or whatever, like
Mm.
or whatever kind of thing. But like that's it.
Yeah. I knew it probably ended after the original series was gonna wrap up, so like it made sense. I rarely watched The Talking Dead because it was like, okay, it's like talking, and like I kind of get the the episode that we saw, so
I watched it occasionally. It was fun to see the actors like acting like themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
like just being themselves
yes,
or whatever.
yeah,
And like there was a good energy to it. You know what I mean? Like it was very like 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 R-rated. You know what I mean? And like like
yeah. I try to remember. I think I saw once when like one of the actors was leaving the show after their character died. Like I don't know, it was either for something. Yeah, that was like the only time I saw The Talking Dead. It was when Andrea died. That was like the only like I think that was like the only time I saw it.
what is that? What is that chick's name? Lauren something? What is her name? That actress?
Yeah, it's Lauren something. Let me pull it out. But yeah, you know what's crazy? She's in the first Fantastic Four movie as the wife of the Thing. I
Oh
that
really?
was yes, you yeah. She puts the ring down in the whatever bridge we're in. I don't know. It's like Brooklyn Bridge or something like that. Yeah, she I when and of course
Are you
she's in
talking
the
about the
mid.
one that was made? Are you talking about the one that was made in like 1990 or whatever?
No, the 2005 one. With Chris Evans was the Human Torch. And
She was Invisible Woman.
no, she wasn't the Invisible Woman. She was like like the wife for the Ben Grimm in the first movie, and then she leaves him because
Oh,
because he became a monster.
you had me confused there for a minute.
No, I'm sorry. I know so many Fantastic Four movies.
I was going to
from the
say, I thought what's her name was the Invisible Woman.
no. I mean, she could be. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they didn't cast her as the Invisible Woman. She could have been better than just Jessica Alba, but anyway, yeah, she is
but
Lori Holden.
Jessica Alba was super popular back then at that time.
I
You know what I'm saying?
know,
So like,
I know, Dark Angel, and then Honey, all those, yeah, the mid 2000s. Oh my god. But yeah, her name is Lauren Holden. That's the actress that plays Andrea.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, and she's also in The Mist, the Stephen King movie.
Yeah, she was in The Mist. Yep.
Yeah, that's not a movie I saw.
That's her other big credit, other than The Walking Dead, is The Mist.
Yeah, and just give like she was in The Shield, The Americans, another great show. The Boys. Apparently, she's in The Boys.
Oh, okay. Good
Yeah,
for her.
yeah. She's in season 3. She played the role of Kristen.
I thought she was really. I really liked Andrea. You don't like Andrea. I really liked Andrea on The Walking
Yeah,
Dead. She was actually one of my favorite characters from the original cast.
yeah.
Honestly, I liked her. And honestly, I think what's her name that played the wife, Sarah Wayne Callies or whatever.
Hmm.
I think she's great. I loved her in Prison Break. She was
Yes,
great.
I didn't recognize her. She was in Prison Break. I knew she was
Yeah,
from
that was
something.
her.
Yeah.
That was her. Yeah, she was great in Prison Break as the doctor or whatever, in the
Mhm.
prison, and she became
Yeah.
Michael's girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. In the later seasons. Yeah. I saw a recap of all the
Dude,
Prison Break.
the first season of Prison Break is awesome.
Yeah. And then it got really kind of weird.
Yeah, it went off. It really went off. Went downhill fast. Like after that, in the next couple of seasons. But like the first season, wow, it was good.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, she was great as Laura, Rick's wife. She was great, and it was so sad when she died during season 3,
Yeah,
when giving birth to was it Jules? The daughter.
they
So
they for a while there in the beginning in those first couple of seasons, they had a really good rate of killing off characters pretty highly. You know what I'm saying? To where like it happened pretty like like regularly. You know what I mean? Like people would get killed by zombies or other humans or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they die.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they kind of uh, they kind of built like that. They had that original cast, from the first season, and then in season 2 they killed off a lot of those characters. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or by the end of season 1 they did,
yeah.
and
Few.
and then they picked up new characters in season 2, in season 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And would pick up new characters as they go season by season. At the same time they kill off characters.
Yeah. And this and then the year after that, Game of Thrones came out. Like that became such a trend where like you were shocked that where main characters got killed, which was crazy.
What's her name? What's her name? That was on the show. Got a job off The Walking Dead. She became the lead character on that Star Wars or that Star Trek spinoff show.
Well,
They did.
okay.
I reviewed a couple episodes of that shit show on Jermaine's YouTube channel and podcast.
Really?
And that show was fucking pathetic, bro.
Okay. Let me give me a second because there's a lot of characters we
That
have here.
that black chick. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm just looking at her. Okay, Sasha Williams and
Sasha, yep.
Marsha Green. Yeah, she was a great character. I liked her character. I was very sad.
I knew it was Sasha. I was gonna say it. It was Sasha. I knew she was Sasha.
Yeah,
There was
her
her.
and her brother. I like too.
You had her. You
Reese.
had those two Hispanic characters, women that came with Abraham. And their group.
Yeah. Abraham. Yeah, the Bob. I think
Those two Hispanic chicks.
Oh, I actually I was with this. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, what was it Tara? Tara was the Hispanic chick. Tara Chamber, and then that was it because there was the other guy because there was just
There was
her.
two Hispanic chicks.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Oh, the one that was Tyrese Love before she got killed by Carol in season 4 because of the virus of the.
No, there was 2 of them that became part of Rick's group. Overall,
No.
like it wasn't just Tara. There was 2. You don't remember?
Well, remember I haven't seen like the later season, so I don't know the other members of the group.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Abraham's little group or whatever that bumps into Rick's group. You know what I'm saying? After they get away from the prison, there's 2 Hispanic chicks, not just Tara. There's 2.
There's 2.
I just can't remember the other one's name.
Yeah, me too.
She's on the show for several seasons after that.
Okay, all right. I try to think who is that person, but anyway, a lot of characters die. I mean, especially comparing it to the comic books because it was funny. I know a lot. This is from this based on the comic book series. It was funny how when they would die, because they would die later in the comic book series. So it was interesting when characters like Andrea died, because they didn't die from the comic books. Or same thing with Carol's daughter. Her, a good example of that. Like she didn't die in the comic books. She did survive up to point where she was like main character, and in the series they went a different direction. She became the main the main plot for season 2, because she disappeared, and then of course famously she was in Herschel's farm the whole
Herschel's
time.
barn. Yeah, she was
Barn,
the barn.
and she was the walker, and that was so iconic.
That's
And,
the season. The season at living at Herschel's barn is a good season.
oh yeah, it was good. I don't know. I like season 3. I just because it was the first season I got into Walking Dead. I like the governor like storyline.
Oh
Seeing
yeah,
that.
The governor was a great villain.
Yeah, he was a good villain. Yeah.
He was great. A great villain. The prison arc is great. It's great.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of really good zombie killing in the prison. A lot of like them fighting walkers.
Man.
In the prison. A lot of those scenes.
Yeah,
and they're good. Like that's where they really learned to kill walkers, was at the prison.
Yeah.
That's when they had to really get hand to hand with the walkers.
Yeah, using more like knives, and then like a lot of
weapons. Yeah.
Weapons. Yeah. Yeah.
That's when they really introduced into the show, like the weapons all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes they don't have guns, so it's
for a while they didn't have the guns and ammos like they did in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
No, what was it? They find the guns either like around the prison, or like some of the governors like supplies and all that, whatever.
No, they had the guns from Rick that Rick got from the fucking sheriff's office.
Oh yeah, sheriff's office. Yeah, from the pilot, right? Yeah, no,
yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I saw the pilot.
They had those guns, and then Shane had already had guns with his group too. You know what I'm saying? Like that he brought.
Oh yeah.
Like he brought guns. So like Shane was like they had Shane's guns, and then they added Rick's guns to that.
Yeah. 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 So at least they were protected. But yeah. What else? Okay. So you want to talk about the episode? I gotta say, what's crazy? It's been 2 years since the show premiered. Dead City.
I know it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's how we start this Monday report, which is kind of crazy. And
has it really been 2 years?
I'm looking at my notes. It says after a nearly I'm just reading the Collider recap, and it say like it's nearly 2-year wait, which I kind of get because they premiered 2 years, in 2023, right? So yeah, same year as Daryl Dixon. So yeah.
I can't believe that Daryl Dixon season 3 is coming out in the fall.
Yeah,
it makes sense that it makes sense. They shot it and already had it done. You know what I'm saying? So they're putting it out.
Yeah, and I think what I'm trying to remember if I think that show is doing very well with the ratings, right? Because I mean, I like the show, and
I would anticipate that they'll do another season after season 3. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? But like, I would assume that they would do another season and keep making that show. I mean, Dead City. I don't know what they're going to do with Dead City.
Yeah, I mean, if it improves this season, like, I think the show can continue. If this season is much better.
The first episode of season 2 of something is never a great episode. You know what I'm saying? It's always kind of a fucking, whatever kind of like, whatever episode kind of, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that kind of the reality? You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, the first episode of the second season of something is never really all that exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's always kind of just setting things up for like, it's reestablishing the characters again, kind of, you know what I'm saying? For the audience, you know what I mean? And, introducing the new characters or whatever, or whatever, and visiting with all the villains and visiting with the good guys, and flushing out whatever the storyline is, kind of, for the season a little bit, establishing that, and that's what it's for, kind of,
Yeah, you nailed it. Like you nailed like the head right away with this episode. Yeah, it's basically what every season premiere is about. It's this very slow, like introduction to the characters we have seen in the first season, and establishing the new characters that we kind of saw in the end of the first season. With that the main lady villain from the Dead City, and
The
then the other
Dama or whatever. Yeah.
Dama, yeah, and then the other lady from the Marshalls area, right? And then we see one of them in this first episode, and and then see the other characters and see where we're at. Yeah, it was okay. I was happy to see Negan and Maggie again. I was very happy to see some more development with the new characters, because you and I didn't like the new characters, and I feel like this episode did an okay job introducing them.
I don't like Ginny.
Oh no, Jenny! Like, why did Jenny is part of the group going to take down the Dead City?
Did Jenny talk?
Yes,
in that episode.
Yeah, like briefly, like she did talk.
What the fuck? What was up with that?
I know. Like, what a stupid twist.
It says right here that she's selectively mute.
So yeah, she's selectively mute. So she talks whatever she wants to talk, and if she wants to be silent, she could be silent. Like that's how
the chick that chick is the Dama. That's who she is. Like I said, the Dama.
The Dama, yeah. I actually like her in this episode. Like I like her introduction, like her interaction with Negan.
The actress's name is Lisa Emery.
Awesome. Yeah, it was great to see the Korak. He's always funny and great as always.
Negan looked damn good for like be living in the basement or whatever, like in the dungeon or whatever, like eating cockroaches and shit or whatever for like months. He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he's wearing a hoodie. He had like sneakers, which is cool. Like, wow, he was living the life.
Yeah, he looked okay. I was a little shocked.
Yeah, and then when he was in like the Negan, like like bad guys, wardrobe, like he looked great. Like he didn't lose a pound or anything like that.
Yeah, he regained his whatever, like he revitalized himself really quickly. You know what I'm saying? So from the Forbes.com, this article slams Dead City episode 1.
Really?
It says, it says it's become quite clear that the entire strategy and point of The Walking Dead City is just to capitalize on Negan nostalgia. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is, once again, the only reason to watch this show. There are far more reasons not to waste your time. Spoilers ahead. I think the best way to talk about this episode is just to go through the list of silly, stupid, annoying things that happen. This isn't the most ridiculous show in the Walking Dead universe, but it shares all the other spin-offs' habits of inserting all kinds of nonsensical crap into the plot. Let's list some of the episode's head-scratcher moments. Early on, Maggie takes Herschel Jr. out hunting with a throwing knife. Not a big dagger, but one of those little throwing knives you use for target practice. They're hunting deer, and he's frustrated when he misses. But what would have happened if he hit the deer with that tiny knife? Well, it might have cut the deer if he threw it with enough force to penetrate its hide, which I doubt. The fact is you cannot hunt deer with a tiny throwing knives. It's ludicrous. Maggie standing next to him has a bow. You can hunt deer with a bow. So the writer says, hey, at least it wasn't a CGI deer. We all remember the CGI deer, right? At least it wasn't that. You could probably have killed that stupid CGI deer with a throwing knife. Later, Maggie agrees to go back to New York City with the New Babylon group if they agree not to conscript anyone for the mission. I guess New Babylon conscripts people and then sends them on dangerous missions the very next day. If anyone tries to get out of conscription, they're hanged. But Maggie, being a good, upstanding individual with morals, doesn't want any part in that. So she volunteers. One of the New Babylon leaders asked the marshal from last season if she's really worth 20 people. And he says he thinks so. In order to test this, they round up about 20 zombies in the little horse corral, which Maggie has to fight to prove herself. Ginny, the teenager who Negan was protecting last season, wants to volunteer, so the two of them fight the zombies together. Mind you, they don't try to kill any from across the fence. They just barrel into the corral filled with nearly 24 zombies and fight them with knives. This is stupid on numerous levels. First off, why would you test one of your most prized soldiers who is volunteering for your mission and has valuable intel about the target and location by putting them in a situation that, if it weren't for plot armor, almost certainly means death? That's not very smart. The plot armor really eviscerates evaporates any possible tension in this scene, of course. So it all just feels like a waste of time. Yet another moment to make New Babylon leadership look like mustache-twirling cartoon villains. So, over in New York City, the mustache-twirling villains have locked Negan up in a cell for the past year. I guess he turned them down when Adama gave him an opportunity with the organization at the end of season 1. Well, they threatened his family this time around. I guess his family's is back now, and so he's forced to help out. Their goal to unite the clans, or the vying factions of New York City thugs, into one unified force to fight off the New Babylon army who wants their zombie fuel. So what do you think, Andres? I'll stop the article there.
Yeah.
What do you think of Dead City episode 1? Give me your take on like the first half of the episode. And then we'll split it in half for another question for the second half.
Okay. Yeah. I thought the first half was decently good. I don't think
and respond to the article, of course, too.
Yeah. Okay, let me just run that. Look, I mean, Maggie is trying to teach the boy, how to survive and do, survival skills, and so.
Yeah, but why would you try to hunt a deer with a throwing knife?
I mean, you could do it. I mean, you could do Commando when Arnold throws the knives like that. Like you could do that. I mean,
but he didn't have a knife like Commando though.
That's true. Yeah. So I mean, I agree with the article that is kind of stupid that Maggie didn't give him a weapon that made more sense to take down the deer. But I kind of get what she was trying to do. But still, it was stupid. I was laughing when Janine was there. I was like, okay, she's there, being very mopey, like as a teenager. And then we get to Negan. I thought Negan stuff is the best. Actually, I really like the Negan stuff. See him be in a cage, and like the fact that he, he's not gonna go through, the whole. What's the character's name? I'm sorry. The Dam. The Dam. Yeah. The Dam and the Korax plan of now they hear that the New Babylon Federation wants to take over New York City, right, from them, and so they want Negan to be the face of the of this resistance, right? So all that is a very interesting plot line going on to that first sequence. Yeah, and then of course I agree with the article. It was kind of weird they wanted to test Maggie against the walkers, and it's she's a well-known person that has handled these walkers before. Why you want to risk your best soldier? So I did agree about that, and of course Jeannie was in trouble. It's what she's doing there. I was hoping she did die in this episode. She got bitten and Maggie has to kill her, the head or whatever. But no, we didn't get that. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and yeah, I don't know why we still have Jeannie here, but whatever. What else? And yeah, I overall like the sequence. I have to say I don't like the idea of keeping the Negan and Maggie apart. I kind of like them. The thing that I like about first season is them being together. So I hope we will get Maggie and Negan together in couple scenes. So overall, I like the first sequence. I think it gets us where the characters are at right now, and moving us to the new storyline for this season, which is great. At least they got more episodes, which is good, because I don't think 6 episodes will be enough to tell this big story they're planning. So yeah, I think the first sequence is good. I agree with what the articles say about some of the silly stuff. I mean, the deer was silly. I agree with the whole fight with the walkers. The New Babylon Federation tried to test Maggie and the soldiers on these walkers. Is look, just give them guns and weapons enough to defend them and kill the walkers / the evil people. They're not infected walkers. So just do that. Don't risk it. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I think this author is on point. There is a lot of stupid shit that happens. Basically you already said that you like the Negan, aspect of it. So that just reinforces his point. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
if you think about it, you know, he said the show is just about Negan nostalgia. You know, kind of right.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I mean,
we will see, you know, across the span of the whole 8 episodes. We'll judge, you know, like how the show is, you know.
yeah.
But you know, I don't know. Like I'm wondering, you know, like if like pairing Maggie and Negan together for this show was really the best decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm just put that out there. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like Daryl and Carol works. You know what I'm saying? Like the Daryl show works.
Yeah.
I mean, season 1 was better than season 2. But the show has promise. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like it still, you know, has juice to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see it still. You know, like I
Yes.
want to watch season 3 and see what happens. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
you
No.
know,
I agree. 100%. Yeah. Like I like first season more than season 2, but the thing that season 2 has over the first season, or like season 2 has something that the first one didn't have, was Carol there being badass, doing her thing, which was great, and she had great moments in that season. And when she got together with Daryl, guess what? It felt like the original like Walking Dead when I was growing up. Like those two were great as a pairing. And yeah, I kind of agree. Like it is kind of weird to put Maggie and Negan together, but like there is a relation to it. I mean, Negan killed Maggie's lover, Glenn. So there is interesting. It's just I don't know. So it's weird how this show handles those two, and like I don't know. It's just yeah, a lot of stupid things does was around them, and it's like I don't need that, you know.
well, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, they can still make it work. I'm not saying they can't. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's things they
Yeah,
can do with, there's things they can do. They don't always have to be on screen together and stuff like that for the show to work. You know, they can have dual storylines and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they did in season 1.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Um, it looks like they're kind of going to try to pit them against each other this season.
yeah, which is good. I kind of like that. I makes sense. I mean, Negan is forced to do it. I mean, he doesn't want to hurt. He doesn't want to kill Ginny. Like he has to do it to protect Jenny, from this awful um villains, right? And same thing with Maggie's son. So he's trying to be the good guy, by go along with this plan, right? So but yeah,
Yeah.
I also disagree. I didn't respond to the article about the Negan the Sasha. Here's the thing. Jeffrey D. Morgan is a great actor. Like you need to like they want to use Jeffrey D. Morgan amount they have for him in this series, right? He's a great actor. So like I don't have a big problem with it. It's not Negan Nastasha. It's just Negan is a great character, and like just like Daryl, Carol, or like Rick and Michonne, the other spin-off shows that we review, like Negan is a great character, and that's why we have so many great scenes of him in this first episode. And it's just he's a great villain character. Anti hero. So I disagree this whole Negan Nastasha. It's just like the show is based on him and Maggie, and they're two great characters.
Yeah, no, you're right. They are good characters without question. I mean, Maggie
Yeah,
was very effective on The Walking Dead.
yeah,
Uh, as a character. I know she came back again. Like she came back to The Walking Dead after she left. Um,
yeah. What, like the final season or two? Yeah,
I think she came back for the final season.
yeah. If I remember correctly, when because I saw a recap of like the full, like I was curious like what they did with the later seasons. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean the first sequence was good. Yeah, there's stupid ideas, stupid scenes, in that first section.
Yeah. Well, the whole like storyline where like it's been a year, okay, like I'll accept that, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah,
like it's kind of like, Maggie's like already running like her own like group again, like kind of a la like, season, a la like Walking Dead, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, it's kind of interesting how that she managed to put that together that, like quickly, you know what I mean? Um,
True.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the part we haven't seen. Like she probably run, the other the other group, when she reintroduced herself, the final season, right? That she made another community, so that makes sense. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. It was like the new Babylon stuff. I was like, okay, this
yeah, the
is
new Babylon stuff is whatever to me, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like
I don't really
I
like. I like it. If that's going to be like a big deal or whatever this season, like I like that black dude. He's cool. You know what I mean? Like I like him. He's all
yeah,
right. But like I don't know. I don't know, like the whole deal where they're gonna pit an army versus like the Croat and like the Damas people. You know what I'm saying? Like to fight over
yeah.
like the zombie gas, which they still have not explained how that works. You know what I mean? Like they show
Okay,
a shot. They show a shot of them like putting a zombie into the like
the
like
two.
the tube or whatever. Like how they make the energy, but like they never explained it how it really works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like I sort of understand it. It's just like how realistic it is. Like, I mean,
They make methane off of it,
yeah,
off
right.
the off the off the off the corpses.
Yeah, of course. Like that makes sense. Like generating power to it, right? But like the thing is, how these walkers are like useful for it. Like, because like if you're gonna melt down,
I guess they like melt them down or something, or break them down in
yeah,
those tubes.
I guess so. And should you be worried? Like, I don't know. You've seen this horror movie called The Return of the Living Dead. Like, there's like a scene where like they have this one zombie in this furnace, and like because he had this like government like toxic thing, and it spreads on the earth, like the air, and then it literally resurrect all the dead, right? And I have a question: is like is this like good resources? Like, are you concerned that this thing you're doing to like even produce more walkers in the city, right? But I don't know, but it's just something. I
They
mean,
have walkers to use for fuel. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it seems
I
it's
mean,
like
I guess so.
it's like an unlimited resource.
That's true. How many walkers are in New York City then?
And
It's
if you could get rid of the walkers, then you could actually go and get like other fuel. You know what I mean? Like oil.
Yes, yeah, that's true. If it's still there in the city, yeah, you can get oil. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
So
there'd still be oil like to be found.
yeah, I mean, we're viewing the Last of Us. I mean, like there's still oil there, and like same thing with 28 and all the zombie movies and TV. It's like yeah, there's still oil. It's just like it's still untouched after so many years, right? Since the
Yeah,
apocalypse.
they haven't really explained in The Last of Us like how they power like the city completely and all that. You know what I mean? They haven't gone that far with the story yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean with that they in the game I not to diverge, but like in the game, if you watch the game playthrough, they have generators, and if every time they find like like gas and stuff like that, they will use that to generate the power. That's how usually they have power in that
I don't
universe.
they haven't shown a generator yet in
No,
this
no,
season.
no. I'm trying to remember if they show it in first season, but no, they haven't done
They
that
have
yet.
they
So
have they have they have power like they in the city there. They have electrical grid power, like from house to house. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
know, they
and
have running water. They have like regular electricity.
yeah, and just remind people, you don't need that as power too, like because they're close to the water. Like if you're close to like a dam or something like that, that's also another way you could generate power is using the dam to connect your town. And that's how you get your power. So sometimes is that other way around. But yeah. But still, the shows don't really explain how they get the power sometimes. But yeah. Uh, what was the uh uh, I, I just want them to use more of the Dead City because I like the idea of like New York as a premise, right? Like the reason we like Daryl Dixon first
Yeah,
season was because the Paris setting, and I just want more of that for this season. It's more New York
yeah.
City,
Oh yeah, I've said that before myself.
yeah,
New York City is a great like place to stage like set up a show on. Like it's a great a place to do the the zombie apocalypse. Like I like the Walker stuff. I still like that aspect of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like I like that part of like I like the walkers being involved and shit like that and killing walkers and
Yeah.
they made it to where now on these shows it's all human versus human again. Kind of like that's all they do now.
Yeah. Yeah. Which it's fine, it's okay, but like I'm here for The Walking Dead, the walkers. That's why I like Daryl Dixon, because they give us like a lot more walkers. Plus they give us
It's a good balance. It's a good
good
balance.
balance. Yeah, good balance. And I don't I don't know. Like I think this show needs to like balance like its walkers and the human, storylines, whatever. But yeah.
Oh yeah, all these kind of shows have to do that. Like it's
Mm,
like you have to pay homage to like what your roots are. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, and I mean, like The Walking Dead had really great creative walkers, and I mean, like, you know, I mean, like the crazy junkyard monsters were very unique, and first season we had
Oh
the like,
yeah, yeah.
I
That's certainly the guy in the article says he's like, how did they get those two zombies to fight each other? You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen?
I don't know. Like, they probably just like give them like, Here's some meat," and like train them to fight each other like in gladiator style.
See,
Uh,
they don't explain none of that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not friendly to each other either. Like they don't care about each other, so like that's fine. I don't know. I don't know. Like they probably have a soul still. I don't know. But yeah, that is funny. That is kind of stupid. Like too. It's like why you want to put up the walkers together? That's a like.
the
Well,
shit
wait.
where the shit where the guy is telling the chick that like that Lauren Cohen is worth 20 men or whatever,
20 men.
like
No,
that shit is crazy.
that's just get
Like
out of here.
she's valuable, you know what I mean? But like that's 20 men is a lot of value. You know what I'm saying? Like so I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but like she's not worth 20 men.
yeah.
Personally, I don't think.
No. I mean, she's a good fighter, but she's no like Daryl or like Rick. Like in that style. Like they can take care of themselves with the
She's
walkers.
good against zombies, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
she's good
yeah,
against walkers, you know what I mean? But like her human on human, she's never really been like a really like, that I remember. I don't remember her ever being like a big killer, like, human on human.
no, not like Daryl, Rick, or Michonne, or
I mean, she's killed, don't get me
yeah.
wrong, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, like I can't remember when she killed a human, but yeah, she had to if it was necessary. Yeah, I mean the
Well,
prison break.
she was one of the more dangerous female characters on the show for a while there, like in terms of like violence, you know what I mean? Like, like
Yeah,
so just give her credit, you know what I mean? Like, like when they first started doing human on human missions and stuff like that, The Walking Dead did, like having human on human combat, she became one of their top soldiers.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, like around the prison, the prison arc, and
I remember when they did that original hit on Negan's people on that one mission. Like I forgot why they did it, like what the motivation was. Like I think it was
yeah,
like revenge or something like that or whatever. I can't remember. But when they stuck in that facility and then they killed all those Negan's people there.
yeah,
That's what started the whole Negan thing.
yeah. It was because it was after. Yeah, after they got Daryl back, they started to plan to take control of like the town again that they were living again, and start to attack Negan for like the first time, like take back.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I really like it. It was crazy, despite it was stupid because if they were making noise, the walkers can easily hear the noise. I don't know, but it was a good action scene. It was great. I was happy that Rick and Daryl did something to attack Negan's men and all that. So it was a good plan.
Yeah, it was after Negan's people went after Daryl up there on the road like that one episode.
Yes. Yeah, long time, but I do remember that.
Daryl shot the RPG at him or whatever.
Oh, that was a good one. Okay. What else? So
I'll finish to wrap up the article. Basically, this guy mentions like basically just that Negan meets the other factions at a zombie fight, and they have the zombie fight, and apparently like Negan's family, like his wife and his kids or something like that, are still alive. I
Yeah.
guess.
What?
You
So
know,
is that true?
so like the Dama and like the Croat are like, if you don't become like the leader of our army or whatever, you know, like we'll kill him or some shit like that. I guess, right?
I guess so. Yeah. Like, uh, that's a shocking reveal, right?
I
Like,
know.
I I thought they died during
It
the
says right
like.
here in the article that they have his family.
Yeah, yeah, I was watching the show when they did bring up that like they know where his family's at. I guess that made like a lot of sense because we didn't see like a flashback. I don't think in the original series of like Negan.
I always just
Um,
assumed Negan's family was dead.
yeah, I thought so too. You know, like, but I guess that makes sense. You know, because it makes sense why he took in Jenny, right? Like, you know, as a surrogate daughter or something like that because he has family, right? I don't know. I It makes sense. But it makes because
I thought he had a wife and a child, but they died or something like that.
yeah, prior to the apocalypse, yeah, I thought that happened. I don't know. I guess that is gonna be a
No,
trade.
during the apocalypse they died.
Yes,
That's
during
what I thought.
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I'm just like looking. Yeah, there's throw out. Answer says these have to escalate. Yeah, because they want Negan to get like a lot of the three New York groups to form like an alliance to invade, to fight the Invaders. But if he doesn't do it, like, yeah, Negan has because apparently she tells him that Negan that his wife and children had been taken captive, and they've been brought to the island.
There you go.
So
See,
yeah, so I was like, oh really, that happened. So yeah, so I'm curious when we're going to see them. That's the thing. It's like they told us that.
the guy with the article says, ultimately, I'm left wondering what's the point of this show? Is this another faction war between groups of people who care about nothing about this entire franchise? Is just the same thing over and over again, whether it's the ones who live, Fear the Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, or this. Factions fighting other factions endlessly. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Pick any of these shows and the plot is almost identical. Our heroes almost never die, but they also never really gain anything. No real arcs or tension because there are no real stakes. No real character development, but also not much world development. Everything is stagnant. There's never a victory condition. It just spins on endlessly, flailing from one humdrum conflict to another. It's like the writers only have one idea and they just recycle it over and over again with a new batch of characters in a new location that we can frankly care less about. It's also dreadfully generic and boring at this point. Why are we still doing this? So if you don't
Okay,
like it, don't watch it. They tell me yes, but where's the fun at that? Okay, that's the guy. That's what the guy said.
what the guy say?
So
Okay,
I'm not that harsh on this show.
no, I mean,
I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? But like
yeah,
episode one was not very good. It was not like a great episode.
no, no. I mean, it's a slow episode. I mean, it's just like there's three, like as you were saying for Jeff, it was just like, oh, this typical that typical season opener, like reintroducing the characters, setting up the storylines, all that, for this season, for the next, 7 episodes we're going to review and all that. So it's one of those typical season, openers. I just hope that the next episodes will be good and great because we're reviewing other shows that have done that already. Like The Last of Us, had a great second episode, that delivered, and you got Endor that's going on. That's going to be great in the next couple weeks, and yeah, this show, the first season we like, but it was not great. It didn't beat Daryl Dixon or The Ones Who Live. Those were great shows.
No,
You know,
no, no. Density wasn't as good as those shows.
yeah, and and let's be let's be let me be honest here. If like this is all what zombie story is about, is seeing fractions of humans versus, and you have the zombies as the force in nature. Like, I mean, like 28 Days Later, the British movie that I love, like there's a fraction of the military that Jim, played by the Scarecrow actor, Cillian Murphy from Oppenheimer, like they were the bad guys, and that the effective were just like the force. They were just there in the background to help him get rid of the soldiers. So this is nothing new, and if you do it right, like Daryl Dixon did, like we like the French army versus Daryl like storyline that was good, and they concluded and okay in the second season, but yeah, it's like yeah, it's repeated, but you could do it well. Like what you did.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with
Yeah,
what that guy in the article says. Like I
yeah,
like Daryl Dixon, and
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
the ones who live was a really decent show. A lot of people, the ones who live was probably one of the most actually watched of any of these spinoff shows. Like
Yeah,
other shows actually covered that. Like nobody's covering Dead City. We're gonna have guests on like 3 or 4 episodes of this whole season.
yeah,
Because nobody covers this. You know what I'm saying? Like not a lot of people are watching it. There aren't a lot of creators out there in our space, that are watching this or covering this. You know what I mean? Like, so there's no point even asking them about it. Most other creators.
yeah. Which I understand. I
You
mean,
got to reach out to like the Walking Dead focused
fan
like
folks.
pods and stuff
Yeah,
like that if you really want to like get guests on.
yeah, yeah. No, no, I
Because they
understand.
still they still cover anything that comes out in the Walking Dead.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, yeah. This show just haven't reached like it hasn't reached that like the big popular like reviewing thing like Daryl or like the ones who lives, fortunately. But yeah, I
But
understand.
we do have what's her name from Fandom Hybrid podcast or whatever, coming on like the finale, I think it is. She's coming on. She's a
Okay.
big guest, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Her podcast is really, really popular.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I disagree. I think I it's good that we have these three groups in New York. That I hope that will make the story be more exciting than the first season. Um, because like I like the walkers, but like you need to have a story going on. So like seeing these like New York people that lives in the city trying to defend the invaders for coming to like take over is a really good storyline. I just think I just hope they pace the story well and like give us a good action with the humans and the walkers, simultaneously. So I just like we need to see how they do it.
Yeah, I'll give episode one like a 5.5 rating. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't not a great episode. Like not a lot happened. What happened was really what we expected, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't
Yeah,
surprising. The only thing that was new, like that they threw in there, was like Negan's family shit. You know
yeah,
that
yeah.
came out of that came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have to be honest, I did watch this episode, but I when I was putting in my notes here, I totally forgot. Like, oh yeah, they did mention something about his wife, and so I had to
well,
like,
that's how they got him to like take that position.
yeah. My rating, yeah, I'll give it 5 out of 10. I guess. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I gotta say it was my like least exciting to review this episode. I had to say, like compared to these other shows I review, it's not like I hate it. It's just like I like this show. I think it has potential. It's just it lacks something like some excitement or something like that. I don't know. And I agree with you, Jeff. This
it's
episode was so
it's it's
typical.
it's not as good as The Last of Us, and The Last of Us is not very good. So this season, so far,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm
so
hoping
far
that.
The Last of Us is like like kind of like come on, it's getting bashed like hardcore online. Like get the show's getting ripped. Because they killed off Pedro Pascal's character too quickly this season.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean, I I that was going to be something for people will discuss this like either or not if you're gonna kill the character is like oh why you killed him early or late it was always going to be that problem. I don't have a problem with it, but whatever.
I'm
There's always
okay with that with what's left of the show to like carry the show. You know what I'm saying? And like add the addition of new characters and new shit going
yeah,
on. You know what I mean? Like I'm fine with that. I'm
yeah,
not saying I'm giving up on The Last of Us completely. I'm just saying that like let's be honest. Out of the 4 episodes we've done, 3 of the episodes weren't very good. Like or were okay. Just okay. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then one was a banger.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think I'm excited to after the show I'm going to see the latest one from this Sunday. I that show has more potential to deliver than this show, I have to say. Just because I because remember this there's another scene where we see the infected in like a tunnel or something like that. So yeah, they have I think they have more like tricks at their sleeves to show us.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that they've put together some stuff, for the next couple episodes to where it'll at least be interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't see that with these trailers of the Dead City. Like there wasn't like the from first season the sewer monster, the big chubby one.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see that all with the trailers. Yeah. So that's the problem. So
Yeah, that sewer monster was awesome. I remember that. I remember that episode. Like,
yeah,
doing that recap.
recapping it, like it was so short, and it's like why. Like
that's when there was enough pop culture, entertainment news, and stuff like that back then that we could do that every night, every Monday night. You know what I mean? There's not as much going on now.
Well, I mean, we have Thunderbolts, but we haven't seen the movie yet, and we cannot talk about
the MCU and the DCU is really slowed down.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, everything's been quiet from both sides. Yeah, like
it's just a new reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, July. I mean, when we get to July, that's when we get more like the MCU DC stuff.
Like we're gonna cover Ironheart and everything, and Eyes of Wakanda and all that shit, and Wonder Man and all that, crap or whatever. But next year, in 2026, other than Daredevil, at that, we don't know when that Vision Quest show is really gonna come out. You know what I mean? It's already almost halfway through 2025,
Yeah, no, you're right. It is crazy. We're in May now, which is crazy.
That HBO show that we might do is coming out in June.
What is that, the Game of Thrones spinoff?
The Game of Thrones spinoff, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we're gonna get great HBO shows coming this year. It's just like the superhero stuff is kind of low this year, so.
There's still some, but we just don't know how good it's going to be,
Yeah, I know. It's
Wonder Woman's all the way. That one doesn't come out until December.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that into the year. You know what I mean? Like into January.
Yeah. So Vision Quest says apparently it's going to release next year in 2026. So either like the summer or something like that. But yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully Daredevil season 2 will be an improvement over season 1. Hopefully they'll go make some changes. Season 1 was on Disney Plus was not that great. It had some moments, but
no, I agree. It has its moments. It wasn't a consistent show. I think now with the new showrunners, I think next season will be more consistent and more exciting. Which is good. I mean, we're getting bullseye, so I'm happy about that. So.
Well, all right. So that's pretty much it, folks. That's our Dead City season 2, episode 1 recap. Me and Andre's a pop culture guy. Of course, I'm Jeff Est, aka True Knowledge. I'm the co-host of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. And we are pretty much done for tonight. No plugs or anything tonight, sir. Let's just call it a night, and we'll get out of here. But we appreciate everybody out there that enjoys our, like I said, our Walking Dead spinoff series coverage. We try to do this stuff whenever we can. And we'll be here again next Monday for episode 2.
Yeah.
So Andres, it was good to do the show with you, brother.
Yeah, it was fun.
And we'll see you later, folks.